Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. The Billy Boy Hinman Ethereum Free Pass emails and associated documents, including drafts of that speech, the Ethereum Free Pass speech, were initially slated to be released by June 6th of this year. And as most of you are probably aware by now, both Ripple and the SEC agreed that it would be best to push that date back by a week to June 13th. So they put in a request jointly for that to be the case. And I was a little surprised that Ripple went along with it. I wouldn't blame them for not pushing back against the SEC, but a little surprised to see that it wasn't just the SEC pushing for that, unless Ripple really felt for some reason that, unbeknownst to us, that they really needed that extra time. If so, okay, there was probably some sort of strategery behind that we're just unaware of. So I'll accept that. But I think that a lot of us were working under the assumption that a pushback, even though it's only a week, our assumption broadly, I think for a lot of us anyway, was that it wouldn't necessarily hold back Judge Torres from making a final determination in the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit. In fact, I even, and admittedly, of course, not a lawyer, but just sharing some thoughts, I was like, well, I mean, I suppose it's certainly possible, and it is, she could actually have a final ruling on the SEC v. Ripple case regarding summary judgment decision before the Hinman documents come out, because I'm just sitting here thinking as a regular person without a legal background thinking, well, she already saw the damn Hinman documents. What does she need to wait for? And apparently structurally that may not be the case. So look at this headline from the Crypto Basic, SEC versus Ripple. Hogan says Judge Torres might wait for Hinman's docs before final judgment. And so it ends up being the position of Attorney Jeremy Hogan that it's actually, quote, very, very likely, end quote, that we're not going to see a ruling until after this, which means if that supposition is correct, and I trust him, if that ends up being correct and that's what's more likely, then the fact that this case is pushed back an extra week may very well end up causing an actual delay, albeit a short one, in the final ruling of the case. And I am so tired of waiting, damn it. It's like, I know, I'm patient in general when it comes to my crypto holdings, but man, it's been 2.5 years roughly of this stupid-ass lawsuit. Can we please just have it come to an end? But I'll share with you the specifics. Before going further, though, I do want to be clear, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so into this piece we go. The recent ruling by Judge Annalisa Torres regarding SEC and Ripple's request to seal summary judgment materials and accompanying exhibits, including William Hinman's documents, has stirred a new debate in the XRP community. Many XRP enthusiasts believe Judge Torres might make a summary judgment decision for the SEC versus Ripple case before the parties file public, redacted versions of the documents. Yeah, and let's pause and note regarding the redactions here, and yes, technically the documents we're going to get, the Hinman documents, emails, the drafts, they will be redacted, but very narrowly. They're very specific redactions as outlined by Judge Torres. And so both the SEC and Ripple have to work to make that happen within the narrow confines of what Judge Torres says is going to be allowed. Meaning, what we're going to see, what we're supposed to see, what we're all expecting and should be expecting, is that we're going to see almost 100% of what's happening. And so in terms of the meat of this, we should be seeing all of that. There are just some specific redactions, as I've mentioned in recent videos, having to do with specific individuals, this or that, but not stuff that's going to be relevant materially to the types of discussions that were had here that the SEC has been trying to keep from us. So that's good. And I think a lot of us, honestly, were thinking, well, why couldn't we just have a ruling prior to this? And still technically we could, but it just doesn't seem to be the most probable outcome according to Attorney Hogan anyway. But piece continues. However, others speculate that the final verdict might come any time, including before the redacted summary judgment documents are released. As the debate lingers, an XRP enthusiast took to Twitter to seek the opinions of prominent lawyers following the case, including Jeremy Hogan, John Deaton, and Fred Rispoli. In a tweet yesterday, Tim France called on the attention of these pro-XRP lawyers to comment on whether Judge Torres' sealing order will determine when she will make a summary judgment decision. And so there's the tweet on the screen. Tim wrote simply, "Just curious," and then tagged the attorneys. Is it possible Judge Torres could make her summary judgment decision prior to the redacted documents being released? Or must she wait till they've been made public? And I'm glad Tim asked that, because that's an excellent question. And I've been kind of curious as to what some of the attorneys within our community have been thinking. So here's the answer. In response to that question, Attorney Hogan said Judge Torres does not have to wait for the parties to file public redacted versions of summary judgment materials and accompanying exhibits before issuing a final decision in the Ripple lawsuit. And so let's pause. And that's what I was expecting to hear. Not that she has to wait, but then we're getting to the more important question of, will she? Piece continues. Hogan, a partner at Hogan and Hogan, stressed that there is a tendency for the judge to wait for the parties to file the documents before she issues her final verdict. The prominent lawyer who has closely followed the lawsuit asserted that he will not hold his breath until after June 13th, 2023, when SEC and Ripple are expected to file public redacted versions of the materials. And so Attorney Hogan's response is what's on your screen right here. He simply said, she doesn't have to wait, but very, very likely she will. I'm not holding my breath until after June 13th. And folks, I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to speculate that Judge Torres already knows exactly what she's going to do. So for a procedural reason, Attorney Hogan is correct, and I'll certainly take him at his word, then okay, we're going to have to wait probably a few more weeks. But she knows that's not going to make any material difference, right? Does anybody actually think that? And are they going to be able to, after this, are there going to be additional filings from Ripple and the SEC? I actually hadn't considered that until Ripple employee Neil Hartner actually brought that up. You can see Ripple employee Neil Hartner, who works on, you can see he's self-described senior staff software engineer at Ripple working on on-demand liquidity. He wrote to Attorney Jeremy Hogan in response to that, and he said the following. I'd imagine she planned ahead and prioritized the sealing decision to leave enough time for the parties to respond before she expects to release her summary judgment decision. So, I mean, if that's the case, and look, I hadn't considered it until I saw this admittedly from Neil Hartner here, but do Ripple and the SEC really need to file anything? My gosh, what else could there be to say? Is the SEC going to file something just to posture to make it look like these Hinman-related documents actually aren't as bad and evil as they appear on the surface? Because inevitably, that's what they're going to look like. I take Brad Garlinghouse at his word when he says that we're going to find the contents of this when it comes out to just be completely shocking. So if we have to wait for that, then where does that put us? So is that going to take another week after that? So then we're looking sometime after June 20th. So now we're already waiting at least a whole nother month until we get a ruling in the SEC v. Ripple case. And again, I understand she could put this out, her final ruling later today. That is possible. But in terms of procedurally, what would be within the norms, and is she going to follow what would be within the norms? Well, if that's the case, then maybe we are looking at almost another month out at the soonest. I hope not. I really hope not. I just want this damn thing to be over. I really would like that to be over here. But like I mentioned in a video the other day, I'm still saying, June 13th is going to be a big day. We're going to have some news from the Fed, good or bad. But imagine if there's good news on that date, and if that is the date, indeed, where the SEC and Ripple, put out the redacted versions of the Hinman documents, everything associated, and if that appears positive to the market, can you imagine what that might mean? Because, I don't make price predictions, and I never will, and I don't know if the price is going to go up or down, but I don't think it's crazy to speculate that perhaps the price of XRP on that date might go up if that's viewed as positive, and I would think it would be. Especially that in conjunction, if we get positive news from the Fed, it's just like one of those things where it's the perfect storm. So it'll be interesting to see. And another reason it's not crazy to speculate perhaps that might occur is because of the recent decisions from the judge that we've seen, because it had impacts on XRP price on a global scale. Think about it like this. I have, because it sounds silly, but it's real. When Judge Torres releases decisions, it has increased my net worth. Isn't that kind of a funny way to look at it? But it's true. I own so much XRP, it goes up X amount, but every single penny for me is a lot of money, to be honest with you. And I'm going to keep private what that is, but subjectively to me, it's a lot of money. And so when she made her ruling in early March about the expert decisions. Thank you, Judge Torres. Net worth go up for Moon Family Sedan. And then when she made the decision, yeah, those Hinman emails are coming out. Moon Family Sedan, net worth go up. Good bit. Quite a good bit. I like it. So is she going to make my net worth go up on June 13th? And if so, does that mean that XRP is a security of Judge Torres? I think we all agree the answer is yes, right? I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because if anything I say are right, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.